Shelby County Schools presents Budget Talks.
Hi, and welcome to Budget Talks, a series of conversations featuring Shelby County School Board members and district leaders to discuss the 2018-2019 school year budget. This Budget Talk segment features School Board member and Board Chair Shante K. Avant. How are you, Ms. Avant?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Natalia?
It's so nice to have you here. You're a member of the C19 family and the voice of SES, so we're very thankful that you took time to be here with us.
I'm glad to be here today.
So Ms. Avant, we've been doing this series of budget talks. You've been in some of our other segments, and we really want to showcase some of the work that you do, specifically as a board member, also obviously as a board chair. So I'd like to start asking you a little bit about how does that interaction work with your community? How do you collaborate with community members and family members around your role specifically as a board member?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say I have three roles. First, I'm a parent of a student at SES, so that's one of my most important roles.
Important, right?
It is the most important. And then as a board member and board chair, it has been a really involved and in-depth process that we've gone through during this budget season. But I think it's really important for me as a board member representing my district, which is District 6, and those communities that I serve. That's Riverside, it's South Memphis, it's Westwood, and it's the Whitehaven community. So of those areas, I have wonderful school leaders, teachers, and the most phenomenal parents. And so hearing from them about the needs of our schools within our communities, to me, is the best way to have an informed process when we're talking about our budget.
Shante, there's lots of wonderful things happening in your district. One that comes to mind is the Whitehaven Empowerment Zone. I know that was an initiative that launched a couple years ago already, and there's some really, really exciting things that are happening also next year. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about it.
Oh yes, so the Empowerment Zone is really how we vertically align instruction across all grade bands. And it's really how we help and support teachers and school leaders to be the most effective in helping improve academic achievement for our students. We have 9 schools that are in the Empowerment Zone, and it focuses on tutoring, literacy support. It focuses on grade improvement, those students that are over age for grade. It's focused on early literacy. I mean, from the continuum of how we start when we first get our babies until it's time for them to be prepared for college and career, we want all of our schools within the Empowerment Zone to be aligned so that each grade is really ready and prepared. So when they come to kindergarten, they need to be ready and prepared.
Absolutely.
When they move to first grade, when they move to third grade and they're reading on grade level, when they're moving to middle school, and then finally when they're moving to high school. And this has really been under the great leadership of Dr. Vincent Hunter. He is leading the E-Zone, and we take a lot of pride in the way that both parents, teachers, and students are involved in the whole E-Zone. We have what's called the E-Zone Leadership Council. And it's made up of students, of parents, of community members, and teachers and administrators. And so we meet monthly as an E-Zone, and we have great attendance. But it's also making sure parents are really, really informed about how things are working across all of the schools in the E-Zone. Right. So as you're thinking about your child in elementary school, you know where your child is going to go into middle school, but you know that child is going to be prepared based on the work that we're doing in the E-Zones. And I think it's a model that we should be using, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to expand.
Absolutely. I think it's an example of how an entire community can just come together for one common cause, but at the same time, you're really serving as a hub in the community, and then your schools really become like that backbone within the community. So that's actually really impressive. And you know, that's right in alignment with some of the investments that as a school board and the administration, you've been discussing and collaborating, which is this investment out of about $25 million around improving high quality instruction, and then another about $8 million around college and career readiness, which is right in alignment with what you were describing, that we want to be able to prepare children, you know, within the entire spectrum from pre-K all the way to 12. And I know you're also doing some really, really exciting work around college and career readiness. Can you expand a little bit on what that looks like?
That's one of my greatest passions, really, is really how we make sure that students leave this district ready and prepared for college or career. And my hope is that SES is making an economic impact statement in the next 5 years about how this CTE redesign has added to the economic growth of this city. If we're saying that we're making sure that we are producing folks who are going to college or going directly into jobs so that they become taxpayers, that is a game changer. And I really want our community to understand that we want to make sure our kids are ready and prepared by not only high wage, but also high growth industries. And so there's 7 different industries that we'll be focused on with the CTE redesign, but it's important that everyone has some buy-in in how we make sure that we're producing the next workforce for Memphis and for Shelby County, and that we will have students from Shelby County who can really take that 10,000 jobs that are now available, that we're filling those jobs because we have prepared our students to be a part of those industries.
I love the concept of obviously educating our children, but really just being such a epicenter of economic and community growth within our city. That's really impressive. And you, as the board chair, and obviously your fellow board members and Superintendent Hobson, have really, excuse me, spearheaded that process. So it's really impressive. Now, Ms. Avant, you're a super active parent. Obviously, in your role, you're very active in the community. What will be some of those recommendations that you will give to our family members, our community members, our audience around getting involved throughout the school year, but also how do they get more involved during this budget process that's so important?
Oh yes, I think it's hugely important for parents to feel like they have a voice, because as a parent of a student at Bellevue Middle School, it's important for me to have a voice, and I do that through the PTO. People do it through their PTSAs, but we need to find also ways to make sure that we're including the voice of parents in all aspects of communication. We need to meet parents where they are. Some parents are working 2 or 3 jobs just to make sure that they're able to support their families. And so keeping in mind that we're an urban district that serves over 100,000 students, we want to make sure that we're inclusive of all of the voices. But I do encourage parents to visit our website, because we keep great information about things that are happening around the district on our website, sesk12.org. And we also have community forums. And we want this community to feel like this is their budget, because we are really trying to produce a workforce.
Right.
And it starts at the beginning. It starts with our pre-K and goes all the way to our 12th graders, but there's ways that people can be engaged throughout that process.
Absolutely. And you're active on social media. You're readily available, at the board meetings and throughout the community.
Yes.
So all of those are also opportunities for any member of the community to also not only just share concerns or questions that they may have, but also ideas or any type of feedback that they have. And I know you in particular, you're always very active and very open to that.
Want to hear from them. I love hearing from our parents.
Wonderful.
The good, the bad, and the great. I love hearing all of that. Always the great.
Well, Ms. Avant, thank you so much for being with us. We certainly appreciate your time, and we look forward for another visit where we can have another conversation about all the great things that are happening in your district.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching today's Budget Talk. To watch the full series, visit thevoiceofses.com.